Well, apparently I've been doing YouTube long enough that I can go back to my own viral video from 5 years ago and give it a little refresh, little tweakaroo, if you will, and it's completely in style still. Home run. Welcome to the DIY Designer. My name is Orly. I'm so happy to have you today. I release brand new videos every single Sunday, videos just like this. It is either DIY content, style hacks, personal style development, and today's video is super fun because this is one of the first videos I ever did that went like viral. Like that first moment when I was on YouTube where I was like, whoa, like there are people watching my videos, and it was such a cool feeling. I saved them because they're too sentimental to ever get rid of. It was these Rhinestone Boots. Please comment down below if you are an OG and you remember this video. So much fun. This has continued to be a trend 5 years later, but the way that it's sort of evolved is like this. It's basically a panel that is loose on the boot. I don't like them, okay? I don't like them. And it's for two reasons. Number one, the way that it's done, it literally looks like just a flap on the boot. I think it looks cheap. Number two, I feel like the fact that it's open, it's just gonna flap around when you walk and be super noisy. So I came up with an amazing, amazing hack. Not only does it look better, totally no-so, but it can be removable if you want. And I made a bonus top, which is like so freaking cute. Gonna be amazing for the holidays. I love a good trend. Specifically with like beauty and skincare and wellness, I am gullible. And if you tell me to rub this thing on my face counterclockwise while doing jumping jacks and I'll look 12, I will do it. Buy now. There is something fun about the optimism and the hope of something like that, even though I know it's not gonna work. So I love testing stuff out like that. But the one thing that I do not mess around with is my like foundation of skincare underneath it. That gives me the ability to play around while knowing that I'm still doing what's really necessary for my skin. That is proven. And I mean that literally. The results are proven to myself, but that is the name of the company. It's called Proven Skincare. You may have seen it on Shark Tank. It was called like the Tesla of skincare because of how advanced it is. I love it. I've been using it for months now. Basically, what's gonna happen is you go on their website and you do a 3-minute quiz. It's called the Skin Genome Quiz. And it is going to factor in all of the normal things that you would expect. Things like, what are your biggest concerns? Is it anti-aging, loss of firmness, pigmentation, acne, whatever it is, right? We each have our own concerns. But what it does that no one else does is it's going to ask for your zip code. And based off that zip code, it is going to create a personalized skincare that includes environmental factors that make my skin different from yours based off where we live, even though we have the same concerns. 3 simple products, and that's it. So you end up with a cleanser, which I like to wash my face with a makeup removing face wash first because the cleanser is almost like a treatment. So I want all those amazing ingredients getting right into my skin, so I clean my face first. Then number 2, you have your SPF. It's like a treatment. And number 3, rich, incredibly moisturizing nighttime treatment that's gonna do its job while you are sleeping. So it's 3 super simple products that for me have become my baseline. And if I wanna play around and throw, snail snot on my face, okay. Is it gonna do anything? Probably not. Am I gonna have fun? Sure am. But it is because I know that I've got my bases covered. I highly recommend it. I'd love you guys to give it a try. I'm gonna put the link down below. You can use the link plus the code DIYDES99. That's gonna give you basically 50% off. So do it. Simplify your routine. You can give your skin exactly what it needs by trying Proven Skincare's 3-step skincare system, totally custom for you. Okay, let's get into these boots and this top. Alrighty, do you guys remember these? This is my boot cover from the video that I did about a month ago. This turns ankle boots into knee-high boots. I'm actually gonna apply this crystal rhinestone mesh directly to these. If you don't have these or you don't wanna make them removable, you're just gonna do everything I'm doing on your boots as is. The bonus of this though is that it just becomes an extension you can add onto your boots when you want them and something you can remove when you don't. So this is what actually makes it removable. I will link down below that video if you guys want to learn how to make it. But again, all of these steps you would just apply directly to your boots if you don't want to do that. Now this is an old piece that I had, so it had a little bit of damage. First thing I did was just clean up all of the edges and cut off anything that was ripped all along the edges. Now it's time to decide how big I need the panel so that it's gonna fit all the way around my boot, all the way around my calf. So I'm lining it up, making sure that I give myself a little bit of an overlap, not only because I want that overlap detail, which you'll see at the end, but also because I wanted to cover my bases and cut it a little bit bigger rather than accidentally go a little bit too small and not have full coverage. Scissors cut right through this material. So any strong scissors are gonna do. Obviously just avoid your fabric scissors. That's a no-no. Now, once I cut one to size, I'm just using that as a guide to cut my second one. So I end up with two exact panels that I can wrap around my boots, since the boots were obviously the same size. Now it's time to attach the rhinestone panel directly to our boots. I am gonna start off by using E6000. I later go in and reinforce it with a clear needle and thread, but E6000 is probably strong enough to do the whole trick if you don't wanna do that second step. Now, I recommend starting in the back. This is the center back of my boot. And when I first made the boot covers, if you remember, I had this little strip going down the back. That's what kind of clean finished it up, because those boot covers were no-so. I'm sort of mimicking that aesthetic. So not only am I gluing it right down the center of that strip that goes down the back of my boot, but I cut them big enough so that they can overlap, recreating that effect, because I actually really liked it. Now, when I first did it, I did a thin line of glue, and I realized after, ooh, you know what? If we're gonna rely on glue here, we should do a little bit more. So I went back in and added another strip to all of them so that it ended up being about an inch wide, thick area of glue, and you'll see that here. Let the first part you do dry. Give it like at least an hour. Then you're gonna flip it over and we're gonna do the entire front. So you can see I've added a good amount of glue. I'm pulling it kind of tight all the way around the boot so that everything is gonna be super snug. Use your fingers to make sure that it's even on the top and that the rhinestone is going just above the top of your boot. You don't wanna see your boot from the front when you're looking at it. You wanna see only rhinestone. Same thing with the other one. I put one boot off, then I do the next one. I'm gonna give these about an hour and then I'll come back. But again, you can see there, you're only seeing rhinestone. You're not seeing any boot. So just use your fingers and slide it up into place while it's still wet. Now, once those other parts are done, it's time to close it up. So I'm wrapping it all the way around the back. Again, making sure that I do about an inch wide area of glue. And then once I know what my overlap is, I add glue to the crystal part that's on the other side, right? So like I'm overlapping it and I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the rhinestone mesh, close it up. Now this was decision time. Do I wanna leave it open, which I didn't think I liked, but like, do I like it? Right away I knew, okay, number one, it's too long. I'm gonna have to trim it. Number two, I like this better. When I pulled it tight and imagined it being closed, I liked that it sort of fit into the pleats and the gathers that are in the boot, the way that I designed it. It just looks like a real boot to me, as opposed to that sort of like almost like a dress. I didn't like that loose effect. I like it when it's tight. So I decided to close mine all the way down the back. So first things first, you're gonna put glue on the first side that you did, right? That's the underneath side. Put glue all the way down. Then you are gonna put glue on the boot and on the rhinestone to close it up. So again, here's my first one. That's the side that we started with. So that's underneath. I glued it. Now I'm adding more glue to the rhinestone and to the leather. And I'm gonna take the other side, which was the final side, and I'm wrapping it on top. I'm using my fingernails to pull it and evenly distribute it so that we see a rhinestone strip down the back. Wherever the rhinestone is doubled up, it's gonna be a little bit more solid, almost white looking, creating that effect. Now, I made a mistake and I let them dry folded in half like that, and it actually created a crease. So I'm kind of massaging it, trying to bend out the crease that I did. Do not make that mistake. You wanna put something inside the boot so that it can dry in a rounded shape with no creases. And I end up closing this all the way so that the entire thing is closed. When I left open even a little bit, it still didn't have the right effect, so I recommend closing it. Now it's time to make the bonus top. I had this extra material. It was what I didn't need when I made the boots. And I was like, this is like just enough for a perfect classic 90s drape front handkerchief top. So all I'm doing is putting it on my dress form and using a trim. Now, originally I found this trim and I was like, this couldn't be more perfect. I had this at home and it was like a silver mesh material, like a knit. And I'm like, that is perfect. It matches, it works, it looks great. You're gonna see in a minute, I have to rip it off because it ends up kind of like tearing a little bit. Not where I glued it, but on the sides. So this section I'm showing you super fast because this is not what I end up doing. But the good news is that the top can come together the same way. Glue and then a needle and thread just to make sure that everything is in place. Now right there, do you see right there? That's where it started like opening up on me and I was worried the whole thing would unravel. So I tried to pull it off. I had already given it a day to dry, so it was very hard to pull off. I had to use a scissor to kind of cut the glue, peel it back, cut the glue, peel it back. I didn't get it off entirely, but I got it off enough that I was able to add a different strap and save the top. What I'm using is the leftover from what I trimmed off the bottom of my boots when I realized that they were too long. So what you want to do when you make this top is you want to make sure to have the top area that gets attached to your straps on a triangle. That's what's going to make it lay naturally. So you see how it's like it looks like a triangle. You're getting it in a natural, it's the more natural way. So if you drape it on yourself or a dress form, you'll automatically see that, but you just want to follow that so that it hangs really nicely. Once it was 3 hours of dried, I went in and used my clear needle and thread to tack it into place. Then I grabbed 2 more pieces that I had, and this I'm gonna wrap around the body. You're gonna see that in a minute. I attached it the same exact way. Glue, I put it on me, I figured out where do I need it, I glued it, I sewed it. Now here's the thing. Tying this was not gonna work because it's like it's too big, right? I can't tie it. So I had a really cool idea. I don't know if you guys remember from my styling hacks video that I did maybe 2 or 3 months ago, these instant buttons. They're like enamel pins with a little crystal button. So it allows you to close things up in a very intentional way. So all I'm gonna do is create a halter and close it with a pretty little decorative pin. It's a crystal pin that's just gonna disappear. Those 2 little tails will hang down the back. It'll look so pretty. This will wrap around my back, crisscross, and then attach to the front, creating a really pretty drape, which you're gonna see in a minute. Obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna show them all to you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you are brand new, subscribe to the channel, man. So many fun DIYs, so many fun projects in the works as we move into the holiday season. And I hope you'll join me for the ride. It's really a good time. And if you liked the video, hit the like button, comment, tell me your thoughts. All that stuff really helps the channel. Okay, enjoy the fashion show. I'll see you guys next week.